Alright, welcome back to another episode of Three-Leaf Clover Corner with me, Deuce, here. This will be the third one. The lovely sound you're hearing in the background is tonight's game, R-Type Leo. And, well, I mean, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. If I can not capture the mouse here. Real professional of me. There we are. Alright, so this is a game I actually got requested to play. And it's straight up arcade machine here, so good times. So this, unlike some of my previous ventures, I will actually definitely beat this one tonight. Because I can just, continue feeding coins into it. And just get to the end eventually. I do have chat open, it's over on the side, so if you want to make any comments, feel free to. I'll respond to those as I can. This does take a decent amount of my concentration, sadly. But, it is what it is. So as I mentioned, I'm playing this on an arcade machine, essentially. Emulated, obviously. I don't really have the capability to stick an arcade board in my house. But, R-Type, used to be Super R-Type since it was on the Super Nintendo, but kind of a combination of R-Type and R-Type 2, I think it was, for the Super Nintendo there. It was one of the first kind of shooter-type games that I played, and kind of got me into the genre. But, so this is a nice find that someone recommended. So I tried it out a while back, and I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. A little bit different from the R-Types that I was used to. I do like the ability to just, continue right off the spot and not be returned to another point earlier in the level on death. Because basically you can just continue, pushing quarters into the arcade machine and eventually continue and beat the boss that way. Or various bosses that way. I will probably be pumping quarters on tonight. But I'm only up to 25 cents so far, so, we'll see. First two levels are not that difficult, and of course now that I've said that, I'll probably die several times. One of the things I didn't mention, I like the music on this. It's pretty neat. I'll try not to fire too much so that you guys can actually hear that. I do like the music on there. Also, it's really loud. It's one of the louder arcade games, so I had to balance it a bit. Yeah? You dig it? It's good stuff, yeah? Okay, back to talking. So I use the green weapon because I'm a terrible shot most of the time, and my reflexes aren't what they used to be when I was a young tyke. So the green weapon homes, but for this, I'm just going to use the red weapon because it has a lot of concentrated damage. And that's what I need to kill that quickly. So I tend to use homing weapons in games, because like I said, I'm a terrible shot. So obviously I'm not, a fantastic programmer, but homing weapons tend to be considerably lower power than others. But, trade-offs. If they're too powerful, then just be super fantastic all the time. Well, that happened. That's a little embarrassing. Normally I don't die on the second level here, but... Well, no, that's not entirely true. I occasionally die on the second. So I'm not going to measure this by death score or anything else. I'm going to measure this by how much money I have to put into the machine. So the bosses in here surprisingly don't have a lot of health, I've noticed, after a few playthroughs of this. It's mostly about positioning and actually being able to hit the boss. You can hear me frantically pushing away at the controller here. So yeah, the bosses don't take a lot of time, as long as you know their patterns and, you know, you actually keep your special weapons.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
So yeah. So yes, it's important to keep your lasers as long as possible, because they make boss fights, and all fights, frankly, a lot easier. Or a lot shorter, at least. And one of the things I haven't shown off is, if you have played R-Type, Super R-Type, any of the other R-Types, you know that you can launch your bit things here. But in this, they actually act as little kind of homing devices. So, and instead of having the meter on the bottom be like a super weapon that I can charge, because I can't actually charge my shots, it shows how much time you have left until you can use that again. So, interesting mechanic, bit of a departure from, like I said, the other games I've played. If I remember right, it's this boss, the boss of this stage, that I usually have issues with. So, well, there we go again. So yeah, this is the situation that you don't want to be in, coming near to the last boss, or the boss of the level, with less. Alright, so we're up to 50 cents now. And I have tiny weapons, and coming into the boss. So this boss has a really annoying pattern, which involves... Well, I'm sure you can see it. Basically that nice sparkly laser that follows you, and then large laser. And kind of managing those two things is the fight. So, yeah, doing commentary while doing a shooter is fun. But yeah, so... Again, the bosses don't have a whole lot of health, which is nice because you don't have to have a, you know, nice long protracted fight on a single boss, but it's all about basically positioning in that fight. So, it's kind of a nice design actually, I kind of like that. That's what I get for trying to reach out while playing a shooter. Chat says, in the future all currencies are laser-based. I like that future. I would be alright with that future. If you know me, you know that I am a fan of lasers. And I very nearly died again often. Such as a lot of things. Normally I have homing weapons at this part. It's a little bit different to, well, hey, I still have homing weapons, just not the one I'm used to. this is a little bit more difficult when I don't track the enemies quite so well. Should avoid a little bit there. All right, back to home. Son of a... I'm really doing fantastic tonight. You'll be seeing a lot more of this. And there's 75 cents a machine. Yep, pro gamer right here. I'm kidding. I've never, ever claimed to be any sort of pro gamer. And so here we are at the boss of the stage, and here I am with a tiny pea shooter. On the right side I actually have my bits here, so... There's the first phase. And so again, the big thing in this fight is just positioning and, you know, not dying. Alright, well that was dumb. So yes, using those as weapons is pretty nice. Why am I killing statues in a space temple? I don't really ask these questions, you know. That way lies madness. It is a very good question though. The aesthetic of these games is a little bit questionable at best. Although, interestingly enough, the story of the game does come at the end of the game, versus, you know, any cutscenes before it or anything like that. So that's a thing. And so this is a weapon we haven't seen, is the nice reflective blue laser here. So, as opposed to tracking your enemies or anything like that, you have one laser that shoots forward, and two that shoot diagonally. You know, like the other weapons based on what direction you move last. So it's not a bad weapon, I just kind of prefer the green lasers as opposed to these, because they're a bit, you know, they go where I want them to, you know, more or less. And there's my lovely green lasers again. Well, that was really frustrating. Am I at 75 cents now? And just as I say that... Alright, so we're up to $1 now. $1 is actually not too bad. Actually, no, I take that back. It's pretty atrocious. I'm not gonna lie, for this far in the game, it's pretty atrocious. But I'll take it. I can't believe that just happened. Alright, so this boss is particularly frustrating because of the positioning issues. Also because this is one of the later bosses, and unlike the earlier bosses, I haven't really gathered the pattern. So here's $1.25. I mean, I understand the... in theory, I understand the pattern. I don't have the muscle memory for it just yet, because I haven't, you know, played the boss all that many times. So this is one where you just kind of dodge around, and, and let your little homing bits take care of things for you while you die repeatedly. So the problem is, while you're using that homing attack, obviously, your bits are not next to you. And the problem with that is your bits block bullets, which is very important, as you can see. So it's kind of a question, you know, are you going to use your bits as homing devices and leave yourself defenseless? Or, oh god, these things. I really hate these things because they shoot... When you destroy them, they shoot projectiles which cannot then be destroyed. So just a horrible, horrible mess all the way around. And then there's this section. Do you like lasers? I hope you like lasers, because there's more lasers. All of the lasers forever. Everyone gets lasers. Oh god, I hate those things so much. Then you see this nice little beam, which is a security device that pops up more enemies. Which, just fire everything, everywhere, forever. So we're at $1.50 now. This being the last stage, which I've had the least practice with, it is also where I died most frequently. And frankly, I'm surprised I got through that room without dying. Alright, so still at $1.50. So yeah, this game is... well... $1.75, there we go. Well, you know, okay, I can deal with that. I mean, it's better than the pea shooter. As far as I know, there's no way to actually defeat this guy. $2? Yeah? I think that's $2. Chat says, I see this as a pay us $5 stage. Yeah, pretty much. It's basically the pay us to learn at this stage so you can learn how to do it better. And that just happened, and since I died down there, I lost the ability to get that power up. So I'm gonna face the boss without any... Oh wait, there it is. Okay. Now if I can avoid dying... Fat chance, right? Okay, now this is the frustrating part. I'm not really sure how I didn't see that. Alright, so $2.25. I always forget that my pods... Oh, son of a... I always forget that those little bolts can be blocked by my pods. And the large laser beams cannot. Yeah, in case you haven't noticed, I'm really seriously bad at shooters. And that was just dumb. $2.50, yeah? Pretty sure it's $2.50. So yeah, that $5 joke may not be too far off the mark. This is the last boss, by the way. And this is my absolute least favorite part, is all of this. All of my this forever. The best thing I can hope for is to use my invulnerability for a bit to get rid of some of the mess. But it's just a huge cluster. Alright, 275. Oh, and there we go. And now enjoy some nice relaxing music as we fly out of the electrified, exploding, planet. Yeah. Yes, we blew up a planet. That's a thing that just happened. And now you see the actual story behind the game. So basically, that planet was a quasi-mechanical Earth built by an AI. They're colonized by an AI, and of course the AI goes rogue. And no one knows why. But you're the one who destroyed the rogue AI, so good job for you. I have no idea whether if I performed better on that, you know, whether I would get like a different ending or anything like that, because yeah, I'm probably not gonna, you know, one-shot that or anything. But there you are. That is R-Type Leo. So a fun game with nice, relaxing music. Well, sometimes neat little weapons. I mean, if you've played R-Type before, it should be relatively recognizable apart from the green stuff. But I mean, it looks a lot more fun in two-player. I mean, really any shooter game is going to be more fun in two-player. But yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. And definitely a lot more tolerable than R-Type or R-Type 2, because the whole starting back from, you know, screen goes black, starting back from an earlier point in the stage is really frustrating, especially when there's like a particular part you can't get past or something like that. So. But there you are. So we will put that on hold and exit out of that. So I had a couple ideas. Either Gekirindan or I think Rayforce was the other idea, and those are rather longer games. But I'll take a look at chat and see if there's any suggestions there. Where's my OBS here? Actually, you know what? First, I'm going to show you the opening to Turbo Force, because it's just the best thing. Get back into this. So this is a fairly old game. 1991. But just look at the opening segment on this. This is what you would see, you know, when the arcade machine starts up. But just bask in the glory of this. yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. It's just great. Sadly, the little cars in the game don't look anything like that, but they do have sweet-looking engines on them. Anyway, maybe we'll play that another day. But for now, let's go to Rayforce. Wait a moment. Alrighty. So, Rayforce is a game I basically heard about a long time ago. And so the neat thing about this is you have background stuff. There's my other button. That you can kind of basically take out of the action before it gets to you via these lasers. Otherwise, you know, you shoot it with your regular guns. But I like the idea of having, you know, kind of background enemies versus regular enemies. And so that's kind of a thing they carry throughout the series. So this is what was it? Rayforce? Yeah, Rayforce, which I think was originally Gunlock in Japan. Pretty sure it was Gunlock. So then there's Ray Storm and then Ray Crisis. And I'm sure there's some other stuff in the series, I don't know, but... So you have ground enemies that you can lock onto, various other things. But just a nifty concept for a game. And I bet the sound is not high enough, because R-Type Leo is way too loud. I have not adjusted the sound for this. Anyone in chat, feel free to tell me how the sound is. Oh well, son of a. Well, if there's any, if you can hear the sound, music, whatever else, feel free to let me know. Because I would like, you know, people to actually hear the music. Because I'm all about the music. I'm doing pretty awfully tonight. Another neat thing about this is the way the stages are all basically seamless. Like there's no, you know, black screen transition or anything else between stages. It's all just, okay, cool, we're continuing. So it's kind of one long story, if you will. I mean, as much story as there are in these games, but... These large pipe-looking things will come into play later on in the game. And that was dumb. And here we are at 50 cents already. That's fun. I guess one of the things I do particularly like about this is paying attention to other things. Where was I at? One of the things I like about the idea of kind of two planes of the game here is that you can actually take out enemies before they get to you. So if you're paying attention to what's going on in the background, you can actually kind of have an easier time. Versus if you don't, you kind of have to deal with the consequences of that later on. I just think it's a neat game design. And this stuff is basically just for points, although it's kind of a neat concept. See all the ships of the enemy fleet in the background, and you're like, oh, there's some guys who are kind of having a bad time here. Let's see if I can not screw up quite so much. I will say lasers that follow you are one of the most annoying things in this game. Especially on the last boss. And you will see the last boss. I mean, if you stick around long enough, but... there we go. It occurs to me that perhaps this wasn't the best choice of game, but it is what it is. So you have the nice heat of re-entry effect. And one of the funny things is you see the other ships flying by and you're like, oh, maybe I can shoot at them, and maybe it was a different point. Well, previous playthrough I had, some of them actually burned up on re-entry, so that was fun. Just a neat little touch. I really should get an overlay of some sort. I keep nearly dying when I look over at chat. Or, sometimes actually dying. I'm at 50 cents, 75 cents? I'm not sure. We'll just call it 75. Oh dear. One of the things in this game is that if you don't take care of enemies quickly, I've noticed, things do tend to get out of hand. And that I remember from last time. These blasted falling lasers are killing me. Well, that was dumb. Alright, so $1 it is then. Probably a lot worse this game than the previous one. R-Type Lee was actually, well, for one, a lot shorter, but kind of a lot easier of a game. I'll have to check when that was made, but well, that was kind of dumb. Alright. Moving on to Area 4. The Fissure of Consciousness. They have such wonderful names for all these places. Kind of reminds me of, shoot, what was that? Radiant Silvergun, I think. Shoot. That was very unsatisfying. $1.25? No, $1.50? We'll say $1.50. I really have to keep better track of these things. When I go back through and put subtitles on this lovely mess, I'll be sure to get the correct total for anyone who cares. Kind of a metaphor for life, really. When you're focusing on all the problems that are right in front of you, you miss the things that are coming down the line, and then you kind of get trapped in this endless cycle of trying to catch up on everything that just sort of dooms you. It's a really bad position to be in, and you're forever kind of falling behind and trying to play catch up, and it just puts you in a very bad position, just kind of for all eternity. Which, not incidentally, is kind of where I am in life right now. But that's another story. No, but seriously, I do like that concept. The idea that you can kind of take out problems before they get to you. Or rather, that you need to, honestly. 75, $1.75. And I believe this is the boss. I've only actually played all the way through this once or twice, honestly. These guys are relentless. So yes, this is in fact the boss. Ah, oh, these foul lasers. Why though? Why? Why is that even a thing? Son of... Alright, well that's better. I'm a little frustrated that I don't have my full cannon, but and off we go toward the darkness. I know there are power-ups in the background. I'm not sure what hit me there because I wasn't paying attention. I was about to say, I know there are power-ups in the background that I'm missing. And there are enemies in the foreground that I'm also missing. $2? Probably $2. This can be a very frustrating game. It is much less forgiving. It's not more active, I should say. There's also the point that I don't really know a lot of these movement patterns in. And keep running into bullets. $2.25. I'm almost up to my $2.75, I think it was, from R-Type Leo. Sadly, my reflexes are not what they used to be. I suspect if I really kind of analyzed, looked at my, you know, my videos, whatever else, I could probably identify some flaws. Be like, oh, so that's what I'm doing wrong, but not quite up to that level, I'm afraid. It's a bit of a missed opportunity there. And I frankly don't remember him doing that at all from the previous run. But, you know, whatever. Yeah, I don't really know that I could have gotten out of the way of that. 250? Probably 250. And there's nothing to lock onto, which is really annoying. Weapons that get fired once and then lock onto you again and advance toward you are really, really frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. Well, I mean, frustrating is perhaps not the correct word. Difficult to manage, I think. Because, I don't know. I mean, it can be frustrating if, I mean, it's just difficult, frankly. Frankly, I thought I was going to be dying a lot more than this. Well, I suppose I should have expected that the moment the words left my mouth. I kind of like that part. You know, they give you the initial pattern where it's like, okay, these waves of enemies are going to come out. And they start, you know, they add a little bit more complexity to the pattern. You're like, okay, well, I have to... $3, sure. You know, I have to be locking onto the next wave while I am, you know, firing my main cannon at this wave. I don't know that there was anything I could have done there. Oh yes, I do remember this part. Trying to lock onto the enemies on the side while I'm also getting the main guy as well. Is really frustrating, is what I was going to say there. These guys have nice nice meaty beams for cannon fodder there. And I think I've lost yet another level of my main cannon. That's frustrating. Ah yes, so this is the part I was thinking of. So if you remember those large girders in the previous level, these ones rebuild themselves, so you have to time everything just right. 325. Sure, probably. I am doing good. Oh, come on, that was ridiculous. That should have swung back the other way, and I should have been able to get my power up again, but, you know, whatever, it's a thing. Anyway, yeah, that section with the girders that just rebuild themselves is also really frustrating. I guess drawing the line between frustrating and difficult can be 350? Sure, 350. Drawing the line between frustrating and difficult can be, well, difficult. Okay, this is the boss that I remember that's really super frustrating. And or difficult. Man. Yeah. So many things. So the difference between frustrating and difficult, I suppose, is whether you feel you're able to grasp victory, perhaps. Or maybe whether you have a reasonable chance. I don't know. Because frustrating bosses should be avoided. Difficult bosses are something you want, I think. You know, you want to have some form of challenge in the games that you make. 375? Probably? I may have said that before, but I'll say it's 375. But you want to have challenge in the games that you make. I mean, I would assume that you would want some level of challenge, otherwise it's not much of a game. But you don't want the player to be frustrated. I mean, I know I don't like feeling frustrated. Well, I should have seen that one coming a mile away, but I did not. I'm not really sure how I ran into that one, honestly. $4. In this episode, I make soft grunts while becoming increasingly frustrated at my inability to play Rayforce. $4.25, give or take. That'll probably be the title, or the channel, or the video description once I put this up on YouTube. Now, I have fun with games like these, because sometimes it's nice to, you know, blast away at things. But, oh, right. Ah, yes, so this section. So, these pods hold all sorts of wonderful goodies that you want, which basically give you all sorts of power-ups before the final boss. Because we're finally at the final boss, and I can stop playing this game. Not that I don't enjoy it, but I don't enjoy repeatedly dying. Which, I mean, the obvious solution is to get better at the game and not die so much. But it is what it is. So this is what your weapon looks like when it's completely powered up. And I have a maximum of 8 lasers that I can use. And here we are at the final boss, and it's time to die repeatedly. And, well, there we are. 3... 4? We'll just say $4. I'm good at counting. These are the most atrocious following lasers in the game. I don't even remember how I did it last time. I know I've skipped that a couple times, but apparently not this time around. I'm really sucking it up today. $4.25. Oh god. They're just slightly faster than I am. It's really difficult to get the spacing just right on those. And I was basically just dead there. 450? We'll call it 450. I don't even know at this point. And this, I remember, is just basically BS, because... Okay, cool, so I can go through the lightning. That's good to know. Good, I can finally survive that. This part. That was really actually not what I meant to do. I'm not sure if that was clear or not, but I will say shooters have some really neat patterns sometimes. Ah, gosh darn it. So there's nothing on this boss that I can actually shoot with my main cannon to damage them. $4.75? Sure. This is definitely a $5 game. So nothing I can actually... collect my train of thoughts. Nothing I can actually use my main gun to shoot It all has to be done via laser. And, yeah, it's more than a little bit difficult. Also, I'm just bad. $5. $5, I think. Fairly sure it's $5. Yep, that was his last pattern. I was about to say, I think this is his last pattern, but yep, it is. Pew pew laser beams, indeed. And so here we are, a nice cinematic cutscene. Very, very cinematic for the 90s. '94, yep. So yeah, that is me playing Rayforce very, very poorly for $5. I don't know that I would have actually played that for $5 in the arcade. I don't know that that an arcade around here would have had it for, you know, for that price, but yeah, not too bad for $5. There's actually a neat little thing near the end, well, at the end, actually, at the end of the credits, which will show you kind of what happened to your pilot, which is a neat little thing. Kind of reminds me of, what was it? I think it was the Eve Valkyrie trailer, which kind of shows your, you know, cockpit all messed up after one of the battleships comes through and destroys everything, but yeah, it's a neat little game. Yep, mission complete. 6th place on a machine that's never been played. GG. Well, that's what I get for so many game overs. But yeah, so that's Rayforce. Fun little game. Like I said, it does have sequels in the form of Ray Storm and Ray Crisis. I may play those at some point. Those are actually full 3D. So, well, I say full 3D, but they're more like... yeah, well, we'll get to that eventually, but I'll probably play those on stream at some point. But for now, I think that's enough. Where are we at? Yep, that's about an hour, so I think it's fine to go ahead and cut that off. So, thanks for dropping by. This has been another episode of 3-Leaf Clover Corner, and this is Deuce, signing off. Actually, one more thing. R-Type Leo was, as I said, a request, so if you do want to request something, if you want to see it played, then by all means, go ahead and hit me up. If you're watching the stream, you probably know who I am. And, but yeah, that's it. So, that's all I got. Have fun.